I began my Pokemon collecting journey in 2021 after seeing some people rip packs on TikTok. I would walk to my local game store and buy a few blisters, boosters, and even triple blisters of battle styles. For a while, I was spending my money carelessly on cards, packs, and products, and honestly, if I could go back in time to give myself some advice from what I know now, I would. Maybe you're a brand new collector, have been collecting for only a little bit, or are just looking for some opinions on card collecting as a whole. Then, this video might be for you. Let's go over 5 things I wish I knew before collecting Pokemon cards. Number 1. Ripping packs is not a sustainable way to collect. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy ripping packs, opening boxes, and cracking tins for cards. However, when I first started out, the big appeal was throwing money at a few packs in hopes of pulling a good card. If I was lucky, I would maybe get a holographic worth 50 cents or a V/VMAX card worth $2. A Battle Styles triple blister costs around $20 Canadian. The Single Strike Urshifu V alternate art card from the same set is worth $16.50 Canadian, and is a card I would be more than happy with to add to my collection. More importantly, that's a really difficult pull from this set and costs around 3 booster packs to simply just buy outright. I like my odds better off of buying the card for cheap than to attempt to pull it from an unforgiving set. Plus, personally speaking, the idea of having a binder with a few alt art cards and hyper rares in it is way more appealing to me than a binder filled with holos, Vs, and VMAXs. However, this leads into the next point. Number 2. Set goals, but don't be afraid to change them. Maybe collecting Vs, VMAXs, and holo rares is your thing, and that's totally alright. For a while, I would go to card shows and pick up missing Vs and VMAXs from my collection, and I wouldn't really look at any of the higher end cards. Now, my collection goals have switched to going after higher end, more expensive cards. I'm at a point in my collection where I'm focused more on quality over quantity. I'm also looking for specific eras of cards that I want to collect. For example, the EX era, Diamond and Pearl era, and the Platinum era are all card sets I'm keeping an eye out for. However, there's a really big card show coming up soon, and I know that one of the vendors there is going to have a really amazing dollar bin that will contain cards from XY, Sun and Moon, and the Sword and Shield eras. It's good to have goals while collecting, but also don't be afraid to branch out and do what makes you happy. Point number 3, think about what you want out of card conditions. When I bought my first Wizards of the Coast holographic card off of eBay, it was 2021, and I paid $20 Canadian for a moderately played Hitmonchan from base set. At the time, I thought that was an absolute steal. Now, I think I'd like my money back. When I was buying singles a few years ago, I focused more on obtaining the card I wanted no matter the condition. I was willing to buy damaged, heavily played, and moderately played, mainly because they were cheaper, but also because they were easier to find and would go straight into a binder. Now, I'm practically kicking myself if the card ends up being in a lightly played condition. The best part is that neither of these collecting tactics are wrong. It's all about preference, and I feel that as time has gone on, I look closer at the quality of the card and strive for the best condition as possible. Maybe you're looking at these cards as potential investments, or maybe you're looking to just fill a binder and enjoy the beautiful artwork. Either way, there's no right or wrong way to go about it. Point number 4, set a budget, but it's okay to go over it sometimes. Collecting cards, visiting game stores and card shops, going to conventions, ripping packs and trading with my friends, and searching for good deals on eBay are all what makes this hobby enjoyable for me. It's no secret that this hobby is expensive, but that's why it's important to set weekly or monthly budgets while collecting. It's incredibly easy to get lost in collecting, and before you know it, you've spent way more than you're happy with on the hobby. A budget keeps our wallets happy and also adds a certain flair and appeal to collecting. Being limited on cash is a great way to really think about what you actually want to buy for your collections. Some of my favorite experiences at card shows actually involve me setting a strict and tight budget and working within it to getting the best possible deals. Sometimes, it's the art of the deal and the chase that's more exciting than the actual pickup. However, as for the reasons mentioned in the beginning, collecting Pokemon cards is a hobby that leaks into our social life and events. So don't be afraid to shuck out an extra few bucks on packs and singles if that means you get to make some memories and experiences. Looking back, I remember how much fun it was going to certain conventions and card shows, and yet I don't even remember which cards in my collection I picked up from them. And finally, point number 5, collecting sealed can be just as much fun as ripping packs and collecting singles. So I don't think anyone has really argued against this point. However, looking back on my personal collecting journey, up until a few months ago, I never really understood why people kept a vast sealed collection. With sealed vintage, I understood why, although I thought the experience of ripping it would have been more fun. For modern, I had no idea why collectors kept it sealed. Card shops were stocked, reprints were coming out left, right, and center, and again, ripping them open was more fun. Well, now, I have a much deeper appreciation for holding on to sealed products of both vintage and modern. They look super sleek while displayed, the investment potential is much better on sealed, and perhaps most importantly, the thought of what could be in those packs is much better than finding out what's actually in those packs. Coming full circle, I've ripped enough packs in my collecting journey to where the only dopamine hit I get is if the card is a hyper rare or above, which is extremely difficult to get anyways. Holding on to sealed feels like a better option for me now due to investment purposes, but also because of the potential for what could be inside. So, those are the 5 things I wish I could tell myself in 2021 before getting back into collecting Pokemon cards. What would you like to add to this list to tell your former self? I'd love to know down below.